Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Combo Couch.
Hooah!
I am Pasta Jardula.
Hey, hey, Pasta. I know you. This is Addy Ads.
This
I'm.
is that.
This is USA, not Arizona State
Oh,
University.
God. Well, shit. Sorry, it's a little cloudy in here. What the hell's going on with this building? I got to talk to the landlord. It's
Some bioweapons going on in there.
disturbing. Is Ukraine in the house over here? Wait a second. And then we want to talk about the Chinese and how they're freaking out and stuff when, we have a history of making bioweapons and been trying to make them for specific DNA and types all the time. And those were found in the Ukraine pretty much, so I know they're freaking out in Taiwan, but that's a whole nother other story, Addy, and that's going to be one of the themes for today. Hi, everybody. I am Pasta Jardula. I am here with my good friend Addy Ads, just back from Brazil not too long ago. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Pasta. I'm feeling. I'm feeling a little more rested, a little more centered and grounded, and I'm about to be on the move again. So that's good that I'm feeling that way because I'm heading to the Peach State. I'd love to be in Arizona, Sunset. No, what's that called? The Grand Canyon State. Um, but it's a little too far for me in my car, which is from 2008. But Peach State will be. I'm gonna get there before the big Warnock Walker deal. But we are talking Arizona today. So in addition to
We
Brazil.
are. Well, Arizona, Georgia's interesting. We have our people from Georgia that we can talk to. Garland Favorito has been giving us the number over there. We have people from Ellen Swenson from Nevada we can talk to over here. But Arizona is someplace we're still waiting on the numbers. My guy in Arizona still is like, Pasta, I want to hold on. I want to hold off. I got something. Just got a lot of data there and going through the data. And that's the thing I think today, Addy, you know, your trip to Brazil, my trip to Brazil is only the beginning of what we're going to experience, only the beginning of the work we'll probably be doing together, only the first of, or the second or third or fourth or fifth, or the very beginning of all the elections we'll probably be covering and experiencing from the time to come, and I was looking forward to having you on today. Well, to doing the show with you. I shouldn't say having we on stuff. Are we streaming to one of your channels today or no?
I don't think so, but I'll just repost the file later, and then
We'll post it up. So we've
yeah,
been doing this here
okay.
and there. Our little, Tuesday on election day show. I think it's kind of funny we do it on a Tuesday because that's the election day in America, where you just went
Hmm.
to Brazil,
Hmm.
and just where I was at in Brazil, but also in Colombia, in Nicaragua, and Honduras, and Peru, and all these spots. Elections on a Sunday, national holiday. And it's
Interesting.
so funny because hearing some of the things that now conservatives or America First patriots are pushing is actual election day holiday, Sunday, because they know it would be the most effective day for in-person voting, and they want to make that as efficient as can be.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good idea. Um, yeah, I think I don't know if we can get that changed, but yeah, it's kind of weird now that you point that out. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. It's funny that is the push now, and that's if you want to make fun of voting efficient, that's what you do. But that's the thing. Listen, today's show, I think we need to concentrate. Also, we're going to talk about what's going on in Arizona. We're going to talk about the emotion that's there, but we're also going to talk about the message that needs to be carried forward. I don't know if you've watched the last couple shows with me lately, but the whole China cat scratch fever of sorts that we've experienced this whole weekend, and from people like Jack Posobiec and Steve Bannon and whatnot, and the emotion that comes out of people, and just hearing everybody blame China for the elections, blaming them for the Arizona
Mm,
elections, blaming them for the Vegas elections, Steve Bannon blaming China for the Brazil elections. Nobody here at the end of the day, of course, very, very possible at the end of the day, but unlikely, probable, and no proofs, all speculation, all going whatever. And just as I say, when it comes to our foreign policy, as it comes to our elections, we as a nation, the United States, need not worry what they're doing in China or Russia if we want to straighten out the problem ourselves. We can have a good foreign policy, which we wouldn't have to factor in China or Russia. We can have a good election system where we don't have to worry about hacking because it's hack proof and it's transparent.
mm,
We can fix
mhm.
it ourselves. The problem lies within, Addy, in my personal opinion. It doesn't really matter what's going on in foreign countries. I really don't think that China, I really don't believe that Russia, on both cases. And I feel that right now that China has become the RNC's what Russia was
Boogeyman.
DNC. Yeah, it's their boogeyman. It was Russia was the DNC's boogeyman. Now, I mean, and I'm sorry. It was one thing to be objective and go, hey, man, maybe we shouldn't be too crazy about what's going on in China. We don't have to praise them. You know what I'm saying? But QR codes are bad. And, but that's for them. That's for their citizens. Let them do it. But now, I mean, Jesus Christmas, Addie, all I hear from all these people is that China's is doing this. China's in Arizona. China's in Nevada. China's in Brazil. China's controlling the NBA. It's like this is all speculation, and I believe it's going to be the downfall because it comes from a place of emotion. You know what I'm saying? And it's really not going to help us out on the election front. That's just my personal opinions. Why don't you give us your and ladies and gentlemen, if you're on the YouTube right now, get over to our Rumble. Guys, whoever's monitoring the chat today, Lucky Burrito, who else is here today? Let me see who's here. Is Lucky Burrito even here? Let's see here. Jilly Love. Is anybody moderating the chat? Well, listen, guys, do us a favor. Let's throw the link to the Rumble. I will do it right now. We're going to throw it inside the chat. Guys, go on over to Rumble because we'll go over to Rockfin. If you're a premium member, go over to Rockfin. If you're not a premium member and you want to watch the show for free, no paywall over on the Rumble. So I'm going to put that chat everywhere. That link, excuse me. I'm such a boomer. Everywhere. Pretty soon we're going to get into what's going on, but we even have to be careful talking about Brazil because YouTube, and this is, listen, let me say this much, right? So if you go back and you watch old videos of me, Addie, you'll see me praising Lula da Silva. You will. You will. When I was, I came from the left, I was doe-eyed and like, whatever. Things have changed. And I'm not saying I moved to the conservative side. I feel politically homeless right now because I really feel what's going on with the America First Party, with, like I said, with the China rhetoric. I'm not going to consent for any type of war with them whatsoever. And that's how this shit gets started. That's how it happened in Iraq. And that's the only reason why I ever registered for the Democratic Party, right? So, we have that going on. But when it comes to elections, when it comes to Brazil, we got to be careful even about talking about it because they are censoring. And this sucks. Lula is connections to the World Economic Forum. It sucks. They've already reinstated their mask mandate on planes in Brazil. It sucks. The bankers that he works with, it sucks. I know he's pro-vaccine. He says he's not going to mandate it. It sucks. I get it. But you know what else sucks is that the people from the favelas starved. They, during Bolsonaro's term, just suffered. And we went to the favelas. We talked to these people. They did not like Bolsonaro. And at the end of the day, even if you believe it's a eugenicist program or anything, or when it comes to it, starvation is the number one cause of death in the world. And for people to think that this is like a Biden-like character in Lula, they're just wrong. And people are saying, why weren't they out there protesting, counter-protesting? Because they won the election. They've not been told to go protest. They've told sit back and don't do anything. Don't play into this to let the military get crazy, right? And you were there and you saw this.
Yeah.
But if in fact the military does invoke 142, that's what the talk is right now, Addie. The military is getting involved. They haven't confirmed it. They're saying the military is prepared. The military is ready. They're not going to invoke 142. And if they do, we obviously know this is a Biden administration over here that's very friendly with Lula and wanted Lula in there. There's no hiding that. They've already talked about it in the Congress here in the United States. They're not going to take any type of military coup whatsoever. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be the transition we're going to see. And now we have to start pointing the finger at the things that Lula is going to do, including going to the B20 and the G20, and also signing on to digital passports that they all agreed on: China, Russia, Brazil, United States. I mean, and eventually going to be working that through the WHO. All this shit sucks. All these things can be possible and still be possible that the people chose Lula, right? And this is what I'm sticking to. This is everything I've seen. I will never fully endorse a DRE system, which is an electronic system, but all the other systems are in play. 1 day of voting, where it's cast, it's counted. You must show ID, designated spot, results that night. open source software, auditability. I mean, because here's the thing, the Bolsonaro complaint that he issued right when you were getting home, he issued his complaint, right? This is probably why you were in the air flying back, Addy. It was nothing to what all the people had talked about. And I'm curious to see the people you talked to on the street, because the people online were like, there were zeroed out Bolsonaro machines. There was vote flipping. And my immediate response was, well, why didn't you catch it in real time? They post all the results on the door. If they put a zeros on the door for Bolsonaro in a military area, you know exactly which machine to flag and what's going on. And you would have your areas very well protected. People don't understand. And that's what's going on right now in Arizona. A lot of people are screaming and crying. They're crying and screaming about one area of the election, which is really, really messed up, but they're not bringing the proper math to the table in which they should be kind of levying their complaints. And we'll get into that about Arizona, and I'll explain why. Because they're not getting their head on the right math, and that's the problem. But in Brazil, this thing is wide open, and you can catch this cheating in real time. If there was fraudulent actions, the numbers would have come up on the door, and you can immediately flag the room and say, what's going on? The Bolsonaro complaint didn't mention any of these things, any of these accusations. And Bolsonaro, unlike Donald Trump, who couldn't keep his mouth shut, Donald Trump would be going to the bathroom. You want me to tell you what happened in Wisconsin with the election? You know what I'm saying? You want me to tell you he was eating and drinking a Diet Cocoa? You want me to tell you what? He was at the ellipse. He went by state and specifically talked about how he was cheated. Bolsonaro has been hiding. He's barely said anything. He's been quiet. And not to mention, this is the same system in the last 5 elections that he's won. And now all of a sudden it's fraudulent on this vague kind of term.
Yeah,
Go ahead and
that's
tell
a
me
good
what's going on in
point.
Brazil. So please, I've been talking. It's time for you to talk. Tell us what it was like on the ground in Brazil. I'm gonna go to your Twitter. Do you want me to go to your
Yeah,
Twitter or your Instagram?
Twitter. Yeah,
All right.
Twitter is good. I posted a few things on Instagram, but not everything. Yeah, Twitter should have all the sourcing for
Okay.
what happened.
Tell us
And
what the complaints were on the ground.
mhm. Yeah, the common threads I got were the censorship, the technocratic censorship, not just of journalists but politicians as well, and very similar to our situation in that sense. And also, they wanted an audit, a well done and well intentioned audit with all the information, and in that sense, it wasn't really so much, as far as the people I spoke to, a pro Bolsonaro rally, which I think, I don't know if we discussed this, pasta, but I discussed it with somebody this week, and they said that was the mistake made by the people who went there on the 6th. Is And I'm not really sure what you think about this. Is They should have made it more clear that it wasn't just about Donald Trump. It was about, as Pasta mentioned, election integrity, transparency, and the censorship too. But
Yeah.
it wasn't made as clear, and it doesn't help when the media is not on your side, of course. So I don't fault them for that. Um, but yeah, you make a good point. And this is, again, so many parallels and direct connections with our country here and our election. And Bolsonaro, as Pasta said, has largely remained mute. His VP did say remain calm while I was there. He told him, remain calm, guys. And it was calm. There's, I mentioned before, there's children playing football, or soccer, as we say. I got to juggle a little bit with some of the little tykes, and there's old people there, and they had a medical tent set up. I was going to the next day. I was going to interview the doctor because he spoke really good English, really smart man. But that was when we got kicked out. It's just nuts. I was listening to. I just went on. I went there for the national file. My publisher's like, "Do you want to go to Brazil?" And it was right after we just unfortunately buried my grandfather, so it was really a crazy week. Um, and I was like, "Of course, I want to go to Brazil." And I was supposed to get back yesterday at the very earliest, and we were actually discussing extending beyond that. Going maybe even 3 weeks or a month. But we were there a little over 5 days and some change. And yeah, as Pasta mentioned, or asserted. And I think I agree with them. We've seen this play before. It happened in 2020 in our country, right? And I was also talking to someone on the ground, and they asked me, "Do you think this is going to do anything?" And I thought about it really hard, and that's a good thing too. Which I want to give credit, um, unrelated to this whole series. We're talking about these topics, but Peter Thiel really he espouses not having answers ready or heuristics, and it's really hard as humans to do this. But when Pasta asks me a question, and it's a question I've been asked before, it's very easy for me to revert to that answer I said before, right? But I always try to think in the moment deeply about the question before I answer, and I thought about it and I thought, you know what? This is my opinion, but I think the only way anything's going to change, right or wrong, justified or not, is if people get violent. And I don't want that to happen, of course, but they just wait and they just wait it out, and the transfer of power happened, and that's what happened with Biden. And we probably similar to 2020, we won't know what exactly happened, or if there were sheets with zero votes
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Bolsonaro. I didn't hear that on the ground personally, but the chef, who was the source from the only article I published, because I do the triple threat thing with reporting, writing, and broadcasting. Um, he he said that he told me, I haven't verified this, so it's just what Vinny told me, that they did have Smartmatic machines. Um, and but the basis of the article was really this militia, this 600,000 uh, person group, which I didn't know as well. Brazilians are allowed to have firearms. It's harder to get them than here, obviously, but
That's a new law that was enacted by Bolsonaro.
yeah, thank you, Pasta.
And
Very important
and
to
the
add that.
MST, which is the labor group, complained about it because they said the lands that they were fighting over, the land disputes, Bolsonaro, not only did he turn the back on them when it came to giving up their land to multinational corporations and using smaller businesses that were kind of octopus tentacles of these big corporations,
Mm,
arming them. And these groups
okay,
supposedly were that was just a complaint, another reason. But
okay,
please continue with what you were saying. I didn't mean
yeah.
to cut you
I
off.
want to. No, no, you're fine. I want to say something about that. There's a YouTube channel, and it analyzes violent encounters across the world, and probably 40% of the videos are from
I'm from
Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil.
So I think arming the population was a good decision. I think everybody should have the right to bear firearms, and not just something like this, right? Well, I won't show it. You can imagine when I went hunting last week, so you gut deer after you hunt them. So um, and my cousin just got a doe, so that was good for him. But yeah, it's there's lots of nuances to this, and I'm coming historically from the Democratic side, but more recently from reporting a conservative side. But I got to say, politically, you know, and that's the thing. Political ideologies, as Ryan said, Ryan Dawson, they're basically watered down philosophies for the masses, because it goes much deeper than, oh, I'm a libertarian, you're a Democrat. It's the world is way more complex than that. But if I had to chuck out some candy, that, oh, that's what Addie's about, probably more libertarian, conservative.
Mhm.
Um, but again, the main points Pasta and I think, are in agreement on is having transparent elections, IDs, same day counts.
Yeah,
And I actually would espouse no software whatsoever,
yeah.
none at all. Paper, maybe thumbprint, and then an ID, and maybe even taking a picture. But I used to work with someone who was basically a software expert, and she worked for about 30 years, and she told me basically the very nature of software is is mercurial, such that you can one being a computer expert or a software expert, not me, because I'm not that, um, easily can cover up your tracks and make it such that you can't detect changes, or anything like that. But yeah, as far as Brazil, yeah, where else did you want me to take it, sir?
Well, I just want to say that Absolutely. And we're talking about Brazil. And pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over to Rumble and Rockfin only. You have to be a Rockfin premium member. And if you're not, please go to our Rockfin for $9.99 a month. You can either join up for Addy Ads' Rockfin. You can join up for my Rockfin. The point being is if you join up for one, you get them all. And we want you to watch our premium content because that's what that platform is made for. So for us to keep the lights on and the keyboards nice and warm and the TV's glowing. We need your help there. Go over to
And the
Rockfin.
belly's full too.
And the belly's full. Well, the belly will come last. If I can
We got to
shoot
get
the
the
show
intel out.
hungry, at least I can shoot the
Yeah.
show, right?
Yeah,
Well,
we got to get the intel out.
we're gonna go over to we're gonna get out of YouTube shortly, ladies. So go, ladies and gentlemen, so go over there. But let me just say this about Brazil, and this is what I'm talking about. Absolutely, I gave every single election a grade. I gave it a B minus, and people are like, why did you give it a B minus? I said, well, because I'll never fully endorse a DRE machine. DRE machines are direct recorded electronic devices. I think that's where Brazil needs to go for a push for paper ballots and hand counting in public right there. Do everything. It's just eliminate the machines and just add that aspect. It's going to be a little bit more time, a little bit more work, but they can still get it done because they have all the other securities in place. It's just a little absurd in my mind for Bolsonaro to come at it now. And even still,
Yes, I was going to
that
mention that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
even though that you can make this vague term that these machines are bad. And I'm going to get into this now because let me tell you something, Addy. It's driving me crazy because I'm speaking to people and now this is the part where Alex Jones really sucks when he makes it about just all communism is the evil monster hiding under your table. And I'm not advocating for communism whatsoever. I'm a mixed economy guy. I always have been. But I've been across seas and I've been down to the global south. And I have talked to communists down there or Marxists down there. And it's more economics. And it's more about getting this, using this collective mindset to get the empire off their neck and let them have their own resources. That's why they come together in these systems. Okay. But and what I'm trying to allude to is that they now have this kind of story. A lot of America First people, not all of them, there's just people I'm hearing lately, that the machines are a tool used by the communists to take over. And in Latin America, they've been using these machines to take over. Now, you know what I've been all about, Addy, since I've met you, since we've been talking. I've been doing this election thing, going out there, and I've been telling you, the election systems in Nicaragua and Honduras, Peru, and Colombia are better than what we got over here, bro. I mean, they're way better. But now they're even twisting that narrative and saying that this pink wave of leftists and that they're equating to communists, and none of them are communists, by the way. They're all capitalist, left-leaning capitalists. You know what I'm saying? They're centrist-leaning left in these countries, and they are the compromise candidates of these countries. Like Lula was just a compromise. Gustavo Petro in Colombia, compromise. You know, a lot of these candidates are like, well, both sides are like, we'll take this guy for now. It's not what we want, but they're not even radical. But yet this is the story now that's going on. And I'm going to play a video for you today from Maricopa, where the woman pretty much starts talking about the way the machines are we're going to lose Latin America, or she says, we're going to lose it. First of all, who the fuck is we are going to lose it? And second of all, this is what I've been hearing. This is the communist playbook takeover. And that's the story. And it really sucks for a guy like myself who just wants national sovereignty for the people. I want the people to choose their own leaders, just like they do. I wanted them to choose at home. I thought that the Trumpers got screwed. I thought they got taken away their national sovereignty, our national sovereignty. I want to fight for it and get it back.
That's the bottom line. That's the best way to put it, Pasta.
Go ahead, brother. You say you jump in.
Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, for sure. The sovereignty of the individual, and by extension, the nation to choose their leaders, right?
Absolutely.
But Pasta brings up a good point about Bolsonaro, which pretty much no one on the right has pointed out. Once he got into power, should have changed the system right away.
Immediately.
And he didn't. And he also, as he mentioned, won using that system as well.
Several times.
but nonetheless, should have changed it and made it paper ballots, same day, have the military men stand at the door and you count until you're done. And then everybody goes home and you know who won then and there. But again, he didn't change it. And a political blunder he made was not to become friends with Simone Tebet. And that was a shrewd move by Lula. And that was actually corroborated or told to me by by Simone Tebet's cousin, who I had very interesting interaction with this.
They had some
past
crazy
week.
times, Simone Tibet and Bolsonaro. They went at each other's throats, you know what I'm saying? And, she went and endorsed Lula after the first round. So that was
Yeah.
like, but here's the thing. And when you look at it, it's like, okay, you're saying the election was rigged. Well, why didn't you say it was rigged the first round? The numbers weren't that different from the first round and the second round. Both candidates increased their percentage. And I've been saying this from the get-go that if Bolsonaro makes it to the second round, he's overperforming. Lula should have this wrapped up in the first round. Really. You know what I'm saying?
So
and
you thought Tibet helped Bolsonaro more? Or
no, I thought Tibet helped. Really, to tell you the truth, I think Tibet and the guy who finished third, I forgot his name. This is like Ciro
Tibet
Gomez.
was third, I believe. I don't know what the other
Yeah,
guy
third.
is.
And the guy who finished fourth.
Yeah, I can't.
I think it's like Ciro Gomez or something. I can't remember his name like that. Both of those guys, I'm saying, they both endorsed Lula right after. But I don't feel I didn't feel when they did this, and this is right after, because a lot of people were rejoicing. They're like, they both endorsed Lula. I said it's still not going to be, a layup here. And I've said this from the get-go, and a lot of people got mad at me. Several people got mad at me for saying that it's going to get out of the first round. That Bolsonaro is not to be underestimated, that he looks like he's standing up to the oligarchs, and that's why the people like them. There's a Christian conservative movement in that country. That's why they got behind them big. And coming out of BRICS, he struck a deal for diesel with Putin. And I thought that might help him and ease some of the gas prices in the country, and that might help him get some votes. Well, whatever the case may be, I said, don't overlook this guy. And me and Fee both said, well, a lot of our friends like, you don't know what you're talking about. Brazil is in stress right now. There's crime, homelessness. Even the owner classes, half of them have split and said, fuck this Bolsonaro experiment. We're going back with Lula where we can get some stability. That's why there's some banks back in Lula, because there's so much instability in Brazil. They went back to the guy like, all right, let's just go back to the guy who has some form of stability. But we said this the whole time. And I say this now, and I said it before, Bolsonaro overperformed the fact that he got here. So to see this whole thing taking place, and you don't say there's an election rigging in the first round. You don't say it when you won your elections before. It's the same thing. And yes, they used Smartmatic machines back in the days. The newer machines are not Smartmatic. They're something else. But still, in real time, you have all this data. You have 5 elections of data from Bolsonaro. How many votes he got, where he got them from. You can get it down to the precinct, down to the room in Brazil. So you have all this data. You have all these safeguards. If I was running Bolsonaro's election, both elections, we would if there was any fraud, we would have caught it in real time. We would have, because as soon as they post it on the door and somebody takes a picture and sends it over, like, flag it. Okay, boom. We got a zeroed out machine in so-and-so province. It's a Bolsonaro stronghold. Get over there right now, and you want that machine seized. And that machine is seized. And then you can show the numbers. And when you take it to the court, you're like, Bolsonaro got almost 65% of the votes in this room, in this precinct, with these voters for 3 elections. Now you want us to believe he's only getting 10%? You have all that information and data right there. That's why the accusations have been so vague. That's why the accusations that the rumors that were online were never brought up in the complaint. And when Bolsonaro's team said, listen, all these outdated machines, these old machines, and he's referring to the Smartmatic machines too, right? The old ones. Because believe you me, we asked those questions. Addy, you'll see us in the room like, what company owned those machines? And they're like, Smartmatic. Me and Fee look at each other like that. Like, we know, we understand the game, right?
Yeah.
But
when you said, go ahead.
I was going to say, machines don't cheat. People manipulating machines cheat.
Yeah.
So even if
Guns
it's a Smartmatic machine,
machines don't cheat.
it's people manipulating things to cheat. So what I'm just saying is that you have all this information, all this data. You would be able to catch that election in real time. They were very vague, not specific. All the rumors of all the election flipping, the zeroed out machines, none of it was mentioned during the complaint. In fact, the complaint was get rid of the old machines because they're not valid. And what did the TSE said? Okay, so we'll invalidate the first round with these machines, and then you'll lose all the congressional seats you won. And they're like, no. They didn't amend. Bolsonaro's party didn't want to give up those seats, so they didn't amend their complaint to change it to the first round. Not that the TSC was going to do that anyways and do it, but they just put them on spot, and that's why I'm saying they ran out of gas. They ran out of gas with this whole situation. It was a vague accusation, and to hear people parrot that and saying Brazil's going to know their elections, Brazil, we stand with you, and they're seeing pictures of the Independence Day parade that's played over and over again on InfoWars, that they're taking advantage of this one rally and not showing the actual footage of the rallies. That's why I asked you, I said, can you please show some of the footage of the rallies you got? Because they keep showing this one Independence Day parade that Bolsonaro had a rally and combined with. My friend Danny Shaw was there. Not to say that there wasn't protesting on a rally, but they're trying to over enhance it. I feel, and I could be wrong about that.
No, you're right, Pasta. You're right. People on the right do it too. Okay, we have to talk about that. And it's part of the really the fifth generational warfare we're in. We're in a war, and it's informational and psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And people call themselves activists or whatnot, but it's really they're psychological and informational combatants. I don't want to say info warrior, but
Yeah.
but yeah, people on the right do it too. It's not just people on the left, and usually it comes from the independent media or the alternative media, as some call it. Yeah, I did see that people posting old videos, and that was tough too. Because the next time I do that, and I wanted to say I was very impressed with your work, Pasta, when I first saw your videos, and I think it was Honduras. And I was like, wow, he went there and he's taping the counters, and that's what it's about, really. That's bona fide investigative reporting. So that being said, yeah, the next time I do that, I want to try to get a drone, because then you can have a much better idea
Yeah.
of how many people are there. It's really hard when you're on the ground.
When we go to Cuba, we're taking a drone with us.
Oh yeah, for sure. That'd be
Cuba in
awesome.
March. Let's get this done, man.
Oh,
And
hell yeah,
man,
I'm
I
with it.
can't, like, it's like, oh, dude, I can't, like, we need help because I can't. Brazil is a
Yeah.
fucking pricey trip.
Yeah, and for those that, yeah, Pasta means as independent guys,
Yeah.
we're often we're ballers on a budget, shall we say. So we're constantly running out of money and asking people for help.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get a GoFundMe going
Oh,
now.
we'll do all that stuff.
Yeah,
We'll see
yeah.
what we can get.
So we'll do
Let's
Cuba. But yeah, things got spooky. I think that's where we're going on the next topic here, right, Pasta?
Yeah, we're gonna do this, guys. What we want you to do though, really quickly, is we want you to go, and we're gonna get off of YouTube right now. So we want you to go over to Rumble. Chili Love or Lucky Burrito.
Yeah, go to Rumble, guys. Go to
Yeah.
Rumble.
Let me get the tag one more time. We're gonna go into Addy's story over there and talk about what he experienced. His experience is a little bit different than mine. However,
So you're the Convo Couch on Rumble, the Convo Couch, and
yeah, I'm gonna
he
put the
put the
link in
link
here.
in there, and I'll resubmit
I put
it.
the link in our private chat already.
Okay, yep.
So it's over there. And I'm
And
gonna put it in the
I tweeted it
StreamYard
out,
chat.
and I put it in my Telegram as well. So but if you type it in there, you should be able to figure it out too. And yeah, and you said you put it in the YouTube chat, right,
It's
Pasta?
one word, the Convo Couch. It's in the YouTube chat. You'll see the Rumble link right there. How you guys doing today, everybody? We love you. I can barely read. It's so small from over here. Let me see if I can
You
make
make me a mod, Pasta, before we switch. I just commented. Addy adds 10. I don't know if you could see that.
I don't know if I can do it from here because I'm on the
Okay. Oh yeah, Raj. Okay, I got you. Okay.
I'm on the stream
No
here.
worries.
Gamers there. Go start. Look at all these people. Look at this. Thanks. And the Bill Clinton, the 1996 Telecommunications Act. You better believe that shit fucked everything up. How you guys doing? Guys, do us a favor. Get on over to Rumble right now. There's Lucky Burrito. There she is.
Lucky Burrito. That's
Lucky Burrito in the house.
I'm gonna eat a Lucky Burrito in about an hour and a half here.
It's Taco Tuesday, man.
Oh, it is Tuesday. You're right.
It's Taco Tuesday.
Just addendum here. Ciro Gomez got fourth, right?
Ciro Gomez is the guy I talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. That's who you're talking about. He got about $1.5 million less than Simone Tibet, and those were the top 4 biggest vote getters. And I want to reiterate, I met Simone Tibet's cousin this weekend, this last week, and then Soraya Thornick and Luis Felipe de Avila, and then the rest were kind of negligible results as far as how many votes they garnered.
All right, guys, I'm leaving YouTube, guys. Now you gotta get over to Rockfin or Rumble. If you're not a Rockfin member, please do so. Consider doing so. If you can do for $9.99 a month, that would really help us out. And watch all the premium content over there. We're gonna try to go more premium over there because that's the way the platform is set up. We are going to leave YouTube. Oh, in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2. We'll see you on Rumble, guys. Peace.